Welcome! I'm Esther Buerki, the author of Living Without Fear and the co-publisher of the Amazon best-selling Inspired Journeys. Get in touch with me if you want to start living without fear or writing your book. And please share this podcast with a friend who you know needs to hear this episode. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're listening now on a podcast platform, you can do me a great favor by writing a short review or rate it with a lot of stars if you enjoyed it. And I cannot believe it. I have already people from 71 countries who have been listening to Living Without Fear. Isn't this amazing? And today, I'd like to talk about comparing myself to others, because the other day I was on Facebook and I saw some people who had a lot of likes and comments on their posts. And I suddenly started a conversation in my head that wasn't healthy. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you have similar experiences while being on social media platforms? So let's be very honest with ourselves. I started saying things like this in my head. Esther, you are not so successful. Your message isn't so powerful as the one of other people. Something must be odd with you. People don't like you because you might be too severe. You don't look friendly, and people don't follow you because they don't get your message or find it too hard to do, as you don't explain it simply enough. You're like your father, who always wanted you to work harder and who was never happy with what you did. And now you feel the same for others who try to learn from you. Yes, all this was in my head the other day for a few minutes. And then I said, stop it. And I remembered the thing I learned from a coach. Never compare yourself with others, but always with yourself, your older self. Wow, I was so happy that this wonderful strategy came to my mind so quickly, so that I could start working with myself and get away from those negative feelings and move towards something positive. And suddenly I saw myself, my older self, a few years ago, when I had learned some things from my coaches, and I wanted to share my learnings with others on Facebook. Back then, I had felt so stupid. Who am I was thinking, that I feel destined to share my knowledge. I'm not a coach, I'm not a therapist, I'm just this ordinary journalist who had discovered some important details about mindset. And back then, I was so afraid to put out my message. So if I compare myself now to this older self, I see how much I've grown, and I feel so grateful. A lot of gratitude fills my heart. I suddenly feel so different than before. It's such an amazing feeling. And I'd want you to experience this as well. I want you to change your state in a few minutes as well. And believe me, it's really possible. If you haven't tried things like this, I encourage you to start right away. Take yourself from last year or from 5 years ago. Remember what you did back then, how you felt, what bothered you. And take your younger self and see what has changed. Isn't there a big difference? So whenever you realize you're comparing yourself with others, become aware of your negative feelings and remember this tip. Never compare yourself with others, but with yourself. And I'm sure you won't feel down as often as you do. It is so crucial how you're thinking of yourself. If you think in a negative way, you will stay in this negative attitude. And everything you do while being in these negative feelings will affect your results. You will get unsatisfying results, results which pull you down even more. It's a whole spiral. And that's why it is so important to stop the negative thinking as fast as you notice it. I don't want to brag about myself. I just want to make you see what is possible. A few years ago, I felt so insecure and not good enough to write a book. Today, I have published 2 children's books in 3 languages and the book I always wanted to write about, my story with the fear. And for those who live in Switzerland, check out the link in the show notes to see the details about my next public book readings from Living Without Fear in German, but also in English. Isn't this amazing? All this is also possible for you. Don't stop believing in yourself and in your capacity. Thank you. Thank you, dear listener, for spending your time with me and not giving up, searching for more happiness and fulfillment. In case you feel worthless and nobody seems to like you, I tell you, you're awesome, you're loving, and you matter. And please, don't stop telling yourself these sentences hundreds and hundreds of times to get them in your system. Have an amazing day and talk to you next week.